Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Travis of Preston. And so coming fresh off that Louisiana trip with my wife, I'm out here solo dolo, all right? So I'm out in West Virginia, Harpers Ferry, all right? So I'm in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. I'm actually parked at the BO Harpers Ferry train station. So if you play Monopoly like I do, which I whoop ass at, you'll recognize that name, BO Railroad. All right, so BO stands for Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Station, all right? So this is world-renowned, world-famous, obviously. It's been serving people since the late 1800s, I think about the 1890s. So, and it's still in production today. So you can see that literally right behind me, the railroad's right here. So when you come to Harpers Ferry, they got a couple of different areas that you could park in. You could park, like I said, where I'm at, but the lot is kind of small. So if you're like myself, a disabled veteran, I got handicap parking. So I'm actually parked in the handicap. I was able to pull in right in. And like you see, the parking lot right here is quite small. So if you can't park here, obviously you can walk over here, you can Uber or Lyft or whatever like that. And also they have visitor parking, which is a little bit further up the road when you first come down the Shenandoah Road. And you can park there. So I'm gonna take you on a little bit of tour. Harpers Ferry is kind of small, but I want to do some hikes and stuff like that. There's two hikes in particular that I want to do. So make sure you stay tuned for those videos because they will be following this. All right, so let's get started. All right, so literally right next to the parking lot, bam, is our first point. Has a marker right here. So I'm just gonna read it quickly for you guys. So it says 6 acres that changed the world, all right? So along this path lie the remains of the revolutions. 6 acres of the U.S. Armory at Harpers Ferry have been reduced to rubble. Buildings that buzz with activity, innovation, now lie covered in dirt. Train tracks that push to the edge of new frontier lie abandoned. A stone marker stands where John Brown and his men struck their blow against slavery, hurling the new birth for the nation and new freedom for all its people, all right? So literally the story of John Brown, which I will have pop-ups throughout this video, you should be familiar with it. If you're not, your boy Preston got you covered. I will have pop-ups, like I said, all right? So this is kind of what they're talking about, and I'm about to walk down there, so it's kind of give you guys a closer glimpse. All right, so now I'm at the U.S. Armory, which is, like I said, located right next to the train station. You can just come down these couple of steps. And then what I did was I just went to the first marker that I seen, which is right here, which says is the warehouse. It was completed in 1843. The 2-story building that, it's a little bit of bird dookie on there. Something, but still here, was used for storing iron, steel, and other supplies, all right? It was during the Civil War. It was also used by the Union forces for storage. So let's just walk to the next marker. It's really peaceful out here. All right. This says Smith and Forging Shop. This was completed in 1848. This was the Armory's largest building, nearly 100 yards long. Here, workers forged iron into gun barrels and parts. All right. I love when they have markers and stuff like that. All right, which one this say? All right, this is the railroad embankment. The BO Railroad constructed this embankment in the 1890s, covering a large section of the original Armory site and elevating their train tracks above flood levels. Highly important. Blank. All right, so let's keep going to the end. See, you got people just sitting there. It's a lot of trails out here apparently. Like I said, I'm gonna do 2 trails. Wouldn't mind coming back out here though. Okay, here we go. So we got the perfect heap of ruins. All right, so let's see what this say. All right, a perfect heap of ruins. Standing here on the night of April 18th, 1861, you would have seen billowing smoke as fires raged in the Army workshops upstream. Virginia had just seceded from the United States, and Virginia militiamen were advancing in the armory, or advancing on the army, excuse me. Vastly outnumbered and unable to defend the armory, U.S. soldiers set fire to the carpentry shop and grinding mill, stocking shop, and the two arsenals, leaving the building in a perfect heap of ruins. Arriving after the Federals retreated and fire had consumed most of the 15,000 rifles stored in the arsenal, the Virginia militia later stripped the armory of its valuable machinery. An armory worker lamented the destruction of the armory. Our armory is burnt and we have no more money and nothing else. The armory never operated again. Wow. And like I said, they have a little picture description of what it would have looked like I said, trying to set the tone. All right, so right next to it is called Found Underground. Okay, let's see what this say. The ground around you hides the remains of the U.S. Armory at Harpers Ferry. Beneath the surface, archaeologists discover walls, floors, pipes, and the base of a massive 90-foot chimney. As the team slowly and painstakingly excavated small pits throughout the site, they uncovered over 28,000 artifacts, some in almost pristine condition, providing a glimpse into the past. All right, so here you go. You can see that, right? Okay. And right over here, they have another sign. All right, so this one's called Mere Machines of Labor. All right, so working the smith and forging shop that stood here was dirty, smoky, noisy, and dangerous. Worse still, in the early 1800s, armorers changed from skilled craftsmen, creating unique handcrafted weapons, into wage laborers tending machines for less pay. That sucks. Calling themselves mere machines of labor. Armory workers took their complaints directly to the U.S. President John Tyler in 1842. Tyler dismissed them, saying the workers must go home and hammer out with their own salvation. Wow. Conditions did not improve, and armorers kept working in the factories until the armory was destroyed in the start of the Civil War in 1861. That's crazy. Got a complaint? Tell somebody, right? That's what they always say. Bring it up to somebody. Guess not. All right. This is why I love history. And there's a lot of damn nets out here next to the water. Okay. Let's see what this says. Okay, so this is where the chimney was found. The 90-foot chimney that once stood here towered over the smith and forging shop, dominated the scenery from 1846 until it was torn down in 1890. Okay. All right. This says the power of the Potomac. All right. So the Potomac River races east past you with enough mountain carving power to punch through the Blue Ridge to your right. Right here. Such energy easily powered the entire National Armory from the early 1800s until 1861. Diverted by dam upstream, river water flowed through the Armory Canal, dropping 22 feet over 1.5 miles. This falling water coursed through head racers, which is the entry points, and followed underground tunnels, turning water wheels and turbines as it flowed through pipes in the armory factories. Finally, the water exited the armory grounds through tail races, exit point, to rejoin the Potomac. All right, so essentially there's two rivers that converge over here, the Potomac and the Shenandoah. So the Shenandoah kind of leads into the Potomac, and then the Potomac dumps back out at the Atlantic. All right, let's see what this one says. All right. All right, all right, all right. Tail race. Water from the canal flowed through the underground tunnels, turning water wheels and powering armored machinery before it exited through tail races. I like how they give you a little synopsis of what you could experience back, a couple hundred years ago. Ooh, shade. Yes. All right. What else we got here? Racing west. On this spot, 1838, the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad, B&O, pulled into the lead in a race for transportation industry dominance with the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal. Which, man, what the hell was that? Denied access to the Maryland side of the river, B.O. struck a deal with the Armory to build an elevated train trestle on the river wall beneath your feet. Beneath the feet, right? Continuing west along what was then the Virginia side of the river, B.O. Railroad quickly passed the C.O. Canal and won the race west, becoming the first successful railroad into the United States. That's why B.O. is important. That's why it's on monopoly. Wow. Okay. Pretty cool. All right. What's this? We got 2 more signs, I think. 3 more signs. My favorite boat. The metal boat frame to your right. All right. Is a replica of the collapsible boat built here for Lewis and Clark. I know y'all heard of Lewis and Clark. All right. But just in case, I have a little pop-up at the end of this little speech I'm about to do. Meriwether Lewis came to the Armory in 1803 to prepare for an epic cross-continent journey and oversee the construction and testing of the boat. Lewis successfully tested it in the nearby Potomac River, right through these little trees. Unfortunately, the boat failed them in the wild. Lewis wrote, "She leaked in such a manner that she would not answer. Damn. I relinquished all further hope of my favorite boat." He ordered his men to dig a cache and bury the frame alongside a Missouri riverbank. The original boat frame was never found again. So it's out there, guys. So all you archaeologists / Indiana Jones type of people is out there, all right? Who gonna go get it, though? Who gonna go get that? So this is replica. Okay. Daring escapes. All right. Ooh. The boat ramp in front of you, right here, boat ramp, was the site of 2 daring escapes in the Battle of Harpers Ferry. Under the cover of darkness, 1,400 Union cavalrymen fled on horseback down the ramp, crossing the Pontoon Bridge into Maryland on September 14, 1862. The next day, Confederates captured the remaining 12,500 Union soldiers. Among them were free black laborers working for Union Colonel William Trimble's regiment. Here at this ramp, Confederate soldiers began dragging the free black laborers away, falsely claiming the Union was stealing their slaves. Come on, man. The colonel shouted, "My men are unarmed. I am not. Unhand them." Then he ordered a regiment march, swiftly moving both the laborers and the soldiers past the Confederate guards, down this ramp, and across the bridge to safety in the north. Hats off to him. Salute. All right. Ooh, these nets are crazy out here. These old West Virginia nets ain't playing. All right. It's the last marker. All right. This is home of Joseph Perkins, Armory Superintendent. Armory Superintendent Joseph Perkins lived in a converted warehouse on this spot from 1801 to 1806. The day Lewis arrived, March 16, 1803, he hand-delivered a letter from the Secretary of War directing Perkins, sorry about that, directing Perkins to provide arms and ironwork. With the least possible delay, Lewis may have stayed here while he was in Harpers Ferry. All right, so as you can see, that's a little history lesson on the Armory, all right? All right, so on to the next point. All right, so coming up the steps, we see, when I say we, us, we here, John Brown Monument. Right here. All right, what does it say? Commemorated here is the original location of the John Brown's Fort, the Federal Armory's fire engine house where abolitionist John Brown and his raiders were captured by U.S. Marines October 18, 1859. If you look to the south, you will see the fort about 150 feet from here, right there. The fort was first moved in 1891 and its original foundation covered by the railroad in 1892. All right. So we're gonna keep pushing that away. All right, so I'm gonna keep walking, but I just wanted to stop. Can't really see it in the video, but right there, that's the overlook trail that I'm gonna try to look. That's the iconic view that you see at Harpers Ferry when you visit. So I'll be doing that. All right. All right, let's get down these uneven ass steps. All right, so there you go, John Brown's Fort, world famous, world renowned. There's a little tour group right there. I was trying to wait for them to clear out, but they don't seem to be moving anytime soon. So I'm gonna try to get a closer look, all right? And like I said, pop-ups are coming. Okay, so there's two placards in front of the fort, and it's a placard right there which literally talks about the armory. All right, so like I said, depending on where you start at, you might see this first, or you might catch it like I did on the back end. But and directly in front of the fort, right here, is the war that ended slavery. All right, so this is from Frederick Douglass from his 1881 commencement speech. I want to free all the Negroes in this state. If the citizens interfere with me, I must only burn the town and have blood. Declared John Brown at the start of October 16th through 18th, 1859 raid, all right? Brown and his 18 men captured and held the armory for 36 hours. As the tide turned against the raiders trapped in by the fire engine house in front of you, their leader, John Brown, ordered, take aim and make every shot count. All right. U.S. Marines battered through the door, wounded and captured Brown and entered the raid. Brown was hanged for murder, treason, inciting a slave insurrection. Just a few years later, United States colored troops marched through Harpers Ferry to fight for the Union and freedom. That's powerful. Very, very powerful. All right, so with that directly behind me, the footbridge, Maryland Heights C&O Canal is that away. All right, there's no car coming. So we're gonna walk underneath the railroad tracks, giving me this beautiful shade. And we're gonna go up into this little footbridge. All right, so when you come up the little gravel rocks, you'll see a little sign, the Appalachian Trail North. You got the C&O canals that way. Maryland Heights Trailhead was the one I was talking about, the overlook is that way. And you got the Weberton Cliffs that way. So let's come up here. Has another sign that say where the three national trails meet. The Appalachian Trail, Chesapeake and Ohio Canal, and you got the Potomac Heritage Trail. So let's see. It's several trails. So the Maryland Heights is about a 6.5-mile loop. Camp Hill's 1 mile. The Virginians Islands a 1-mile loop. You got Murphy Farm is a 2-mile loop. Bolivar Heights is a 2.5-mile loop. And you got the Schoolhouse Ridge North is a 1.5 miles. And you got the Schoolhouse Ridge South is a 2 mile. So you got all that right here, all the information. So kind of tells you, like I said, we're right here, so you can guide yourself when you get here. And then this says Discover Harpers Ferry. So you guys said near the visitor centers, the battlefields and trails. In the lower town, you get the historic village, rivers, and trails. So you can kind of see everything that's going on right there. You got the Murphy Farm overlook, Bolivar Heights, Battlefield, Schoolhouse Ridge, Lower Town, Camp Hill, and Maryland Heights overlook. So that's all right there. All right, but let me show you this right here. So people are actually rafting. Hopefully you can see it. The yellow tubes and stuff all right here. So like I said, it's all types of stuff. So come behind me, you see people coming off the trail. Just a beautiful day. Like I said, you got the walkway with the railroad. Got everything that you need. So if you're an outdoorsy person, this is perfect, all right? Perfect. So I'm gonna walk down a little bit this way, try to get some views from that angle. All right, so this is pretty cool. So like I said, when you get to this little overlook and you can kind of see the Potomac. So this is the cool part, all right? Literally, you got so much going on right here, just in this little area. All right, so this is the site for 2 rivers to converge, 3 states, and you have 4 states. I think I read that right. Yeah, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. So I'm not gonna go across that bridge right now because I plan on doing that when I go hiking. But you have several placards and stuff like that that you can read about. How early travel was, race to Ohio, and the Iron Horse wins. And what else you got? The Mule Falters. All right, so like I said, that's all located right there. And like I said, you got a bunch of stuff going that way. So I want to take time out right now to say, you know, if you like this type of content, please pause right now. Do it right now. And make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment at the end of the video. Your boy got the merch on, where to next. This is all in my YouTube channel, all right? Make sure you follow me on Instagram as well, because sometimes I can't vlog certain areas and I can only take pictures or little short clips on my cell phone. So make sure you check me out on there, support your boy, all right? Because any type of funding, any type of support is welcome, all right? All right, so I'm gonna go back down, but I just wanted to let you guys know that it's okay to like and subscribe, all right? Don't be afraid. Okay, so directly behind the firehouse, bam, you have weapons under fire, all right? So you are standing in Arsenal Square. Weapons made in the Army were carted here for storage in the 2 Arsenal buildings from 1803 to 1861. The stone rectangle in the ground in front of you outlines the large arsenal built in 1799. Problems plagued the 2-story building. In 1827, report found the large arsenal liable to be destroyed by fire at any moment. In 1832, overcrowding posed a problem. The large arsenal is literally crammed. Large masses of arms are stored in bulk for want of boxes. Both buildings were destroyed in 1861, gutted by fire. All right, so like I said, this is Arsenal Square right here. So you can kind of see kind of what's happening. Let's do a little slow 360 for you. All right, so we're gonna keep it pushing that way. Okay, so right next to the large arsenal is the second arsenal, which is a small arsenal. You can see it kind of right here. The actual foundation of this former weapons storehouse lies below the ground. In 1959, the National Park Service archaeologists first excavated the foundation 100 years after John Brown's raid. Okay. So the fire baked red and top layer of clay left behind twisted and partly melted muskets, and parts, some of them fused into each other. So it's kind of what it would have looked like, as you can see. Okay, let's keep pushing. All right, so right next to the small arsenal, says in 1859, abolitionist John Brown attacked Harpers Ferry, hoping to inspire a revolt against slavery. Brown wanted the arsenal weapons to arm recruits. Brown's raid came to a bloody end, but his actions helped propel the nation into a civil war. And when fighting broke out in 1864, retreating U.S. troops burned both federal arsenal buildings to keep the weapons from falling into Confederate hands. All right. Sometimes it's not about you, right? It's about the bigger picture, the bigger, I would say, bigger picture. I just can't explain. Sometimes you got to give the ultimate sacrifice.